Yo, 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 yo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, if you are listening, this means you are now tuned in. You know what hour, minute, second it is. It is your boy. It's me. It's that DOOGIFRANCHISE. Yes, sir, in the place to be. And you know, it's show off season, baby. And I want to say I am not alone, but as you can see, it's just me. But I do got some company for you later on in this show, as the show goes on today. Um, let's not hesitate. Let's get right in the game. You feel me? So, last episode I dropped. Shout out to Reg. Awesome episode, getting great feedback. Loved it, appreciate it. And I still got some more in the works. I got a schedule and plan out. But let's talk about what's been going on. These last like the last 2 weeks, I want to say, because it was like 2 Saturdays. It's been like super black excellent. Super black excellent. And it's, if you know me, I I don't I don't just do like this type of video. I do film and stuff like that. And I do like to talk to people. Like one of the things I want to do is I want to be someone people can call to come on red carpets and events to just, talk to people. And the first event I'm gonna talk about is one that I went to with the homie Simone, who, shout out to her, who's always like, yo, come to me to this event. I want you to bring your equipment. Let's go out and let's get you talking to people. The event was called Surrounded by Stories, a scripted and unscripted film showcase, which is being produced by Surrounded by Water, which was, a group of black filmmakers and creators. One of them being Tristan Wilds, Mack Wilds. And it was a cool event. It was, you know, black magic, and people going to watch three short films, and then there was panels. Like there was a film panel, a reality TV panel, and a documentary panel, which had, legendary music video director and filmmaker Benny Boom. If you know Benny Boom, he's known for doing music videos with some of the top hip hop artists in the game. So I was excited for that. It was cool because it was one of these events where like I felt belonged. I felt like I belong in there. I fit in. And so I want to say thanks, Simone, for inviting me to that. And it was cool. Let's talk about some of the short films. There was 3 short films. There was Sincerely Brad. There was a movie called 333, and then give me a second. I'm going to look up the name real quick. It is slightly, I'm not gonna lie to you, leaving my brain, but I am looking into it right now because I have it pulled up right here on my phone because I don't want to misquote the name of this movie. And these short films, they gave perspective. They were different. Each one was different. And uh I'll start with the first one as I get the name of the last one. Actually, I got the name of the last one right now. The name of the last one was called, it's right here. I'm looking down at my phone. Spillover. There it is. Spillover. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But it was like, it was an interesting one. So since that's the one I said, let's talk about Spillover. So Spillover was a cool short film. It gave perspective on relationships with the police in the black community. So because it takes place in Harlem, which, if you know, where it's a it's a film I recommend people check out because it's the way where like, sometimes perception perception can change how people view things and also make them think their actions. So for example, the first half of the movie, this rookie cop, he gets his post, but then like his his senior police officers just giving him all this negative information, and he ends up, you know, making a mistake because of the information. And then they do it again, it gets done all over again. But this time, the information he's given, it's not as negative, it's empathetic to understand, to let it be known like, yo, you're patrolling the community, you gotta be part of the community. I need you to not go in gun blazing, but I need you to go in with ear ear open, heart open, make sure eyes open, pay attention. Is So it was like, it was different because it gave perspective on it gave a perspective on perspective. And even when this cop was being, sometimes being, pressured a little bit on policing a neighborhood, he the first time he was just very aggressive. The second time he was trying to be more poised and understanding and empathetic, in which in the second half things turned out well. So that was a very strong and powerful short film. The next film I want to talk about is Sincerely Brad. I'm going backwards from the order they're showing us. So it was Sincerely Brad, which is about a a man, a black astronaut man, who gets the opportunity to go to the moon. And at the same time, his wife is about to have his first kid. And he's torn for being there for the birth of his child or living out his dream that he worked his whole life for, to go to the moon and be a representation for us. And but also kind of, from what his wife says, kind of be a token for, like, white America, which is, not always a good look sometimes. But it it's crazy how it plays on a little bit of, like, decision making and emotions, and like what's important and what matters most. One of the questions that was like wild crazy was, this dude, worked his whole life, always wanted to go to the moon. Every time he's thinking about a decision or what to do, he's thinking about times of where he was with his dad, and then and how important his dad was to him in his life. So like he wants to make sure he's there for his child, especially when they're born for the first time. And then his wife asks like a question that had me in the theater like, yeah, I don't know. What's more important, the birth of your child, of your first child, or going to the moon? And I'm like, damn, that's a challenge right there. The that movie, that one hit differently on decisions. The third movie is 333, which gives like it's weird because that one is like, it was also different and unique because it resonated a little differently for me. But it's about, a woman who found out she was pregnant, and and then like the man just lost his father, and she didn't tell him he was pregnant. She went and got an abortion, and then like a year later, she's being hounded by her mom over it. She lost everything, moved back in with her mom, and then like she seems to be living in despair, and she ends up going out and making a very extreme decision to dealing with the despair, and then like the voting of anti-abortion and stuff like that. Not getting into it because it's very political in a way where I'm not, the best candidate when it comes to political stuff. I have my opinions on everything, but I don't share my opinions on everything, and this is one of them I will not do. So sorry, respect. But it was a good film. It showed this woman's despair on her decisions and how it can affect people, but also how deeply it affected her. So it was a pretty interesting film. Nah, it was good. Check it out. The panels was cool. Also, I like. It's funny because one thing about the panels is how everyone had a sense of kinship in these panels. It wasn't just a bunch of people up there talking about what they do. It's how they did it, how they went about it, from inexperience to gaining experience to having experience to challenging to do something new for themselves. And each panel gave that. But one thing about it was like a community for each of them, because it feels like they all knew each other within that kinship. Like, oh yeah, I knew them from this project. Oh yeah, we knew each other from this project. Oh yeah, we spoke to them. And it kind of brought me back because one of the theaters I work with, I got to talk to one of the directors for a play, and then I asked him, how do you get your projects out there into people? He says to be successful in sometimes this creator industry it's sometimes based on the community you have around you, because those around you will support you. They will support you in the best of their abilities and help you, and you will keep pushing on to do you. Sometimes it could be that one friend who's like, sharing your stuff or telling someone about you, which it resonated with me because it also in these panels, that was something that just kept happening. And it's funny because if I want to sit here right now and throw up three hardcore names that I would say is like my super creative push community, I will say, and I've said his name like a bunch of times on this show. Reggie Bennett, who you just heard in the last episode. There was him. Simone, who you also hear, because like Simone she'll be putting boots to ass to make sure I get stuff done and work, which I'm also gonna be, doing the same for her. And yo, shout out, he hasn't been on the show, back on the show yet, but Burger Joe. Joe, I asked him can you share something for me? And he went to it immediately. He said, all right, got you. He shared one thing, then shared another, and that's the kind of like community you need. You need stuff like that to just grow. And then another thing with some of these panels is it's not where you start, it's where you finish. You can start from the back of the line and then end up in the front. It's just starting and getting it done and working your ass off to do it. So that was one of those things that I got out of that. And after the show, after the event, I got to actually have a talk with two actors, panelists, hosts, talents, and I'm excited. I got excited. Shout out to Simone because she kind of pushed me for that. So I'm gonna give her all her props in the world on this. I'm not against giving people's props. So the first person I got to talk to, which I'm gonna play the audio clip in a minute, but first I gotta, give them their props. So first, thank you. His name is Patrick Walker. He's an actor, writer, producer. He's been on things like Power. He's done. I'm going down his IMDb right now. He did a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's known for being on the show Doc. He's done Power, which if you know Power, he was on the Vince Staples show. And that's just some of his stuff, and it was cool. Oh, he did 911, which there's always clips of that on YouTube. So I got to ask him three three thought-provoking questions and a a bonus fourth, which I am going to, play for you right now. So check it out. Yo, what up? This is DoogiFranchise. I'm here with actor Patrick Walker.
Yes, sir.
And he just did a great film today, Brad, which is interesting because there was a question in that movie that kind of got me like,
Sure.
what's more interesting, flying to the moon or being the birthday of your kid?
Sure.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I'd rather people who watch us, I want you to answer that yourselves.
Okay, of course.
But I'm gonna ask you three questions.
Please.
And these are like super thought provoking. So
Please.
all right. So if your life had a soundtrack, what three songs would be on it and why?
If my life had a soundtrack, what three songs would be on it? Never Would Have Made It by Marvin Sapp.
Nice.
Igor Stravinsky has a piece called Rite of Spring. It's not just one song, it's a whole thing. The Rite of Spring is crazy, so that you'll get it. And my third thing would probably be it would probably be something Sergei Rachmaninoff, which is also classical. I love classical music.
Oh, you love classical? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my next question is now. And this is another like life question.
Go for it.
Your life's right now a Netflix series.
Uh-huh.
What would this season be titled? What the season would be titled that you're in right now, and what would the vibe be like?
This would be a really challenging season because God is great to where I get a chance to do a season 2 of a show with 22 episodes, so that's amazing. But it'd be showing like the back part of like, all right, you're shooting a show in a foreign country in Canada, but like, yeah, I have no friends there, except for my cast, who's amazing, but like no family, and it would be like it's a lot of isolation. So like this season would be something centered around isolation and learning who I am in a whole new space. So it would be a very like season with a lot of bright moments, but like it'll be a lot of darkness in there as well because I'm trying to figure things out for myself.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. That was a lot of truth I just gave just now.
I like it. I like it. What would you consider your eureka moment?
In what way? What do you mean?
In like everything you've worked for and towards, what would be that moment where you said, eureka, this is it. I'm doing it. I got it. This is it.
The first day I went to my first acting class, I sat in the room before anybody got there. I was there early, and I looked up at a clock and I heard the Lord say, "You're gonna be doing this for the rest of your life." And that was before I had done any scene, anything. My first day in an acting class, I heard that in my ear, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Any words of wisdom for anyone out there as a creative?
Words of wisdom would be you could do, like, it's very cliche to say you can do whatever you want to do, but I think if you aggressively go after it, then like you can do what you want to do. If you are aggressive in nature and like you know that like you are led by God, then it will work. If He gave it to you, it will work. It has to work. There's no reality where like God gives someone a dream or an idea where it does not work, because at the end of the day, it's for His glory, not mine. So if God called me to be a plumber and I chose to be an actor, like my life might not be as successful in that because I was called to be a plumber. So like whatever it is that you're called to do, and if you feel it and believe it that God gave it to you, then there is no way that you can fail. So whatever dream that you have to like aggressively pursue that thing if God gave it to you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Come on now.
Thank you. So that was awesome. I love how some of his answers, actually almost all his answers, were self-reflective, of self-discovery. Like he talked about, maybe doing a project in Canada and, being isolated and alone away from friends and family, and how he has to work through that. And also I love the answer where if you can do anything, if you aggressively pursue it, you can do anything, especially if God give you the tools and stuff. I like the blessedness in that. I like that. And then I thank you, Mr. Walker, for taking the time to actually talk to me and answer these questions. And I hope to talk to you again one day so we can, do a longer interview. So I thank you for that. And that was awesome. Another person now, the next one was just interesting too, because I didn't actually expect this one, but it was like it felt, especially based off the line, it felt destined, like it was meant to happen. So let's rewind it back again. Um, I went into, matter of fact, the first time I've ever seen, the next person I interview is Tristan Wilds, also known as Mack Wilds. Um, I didn't watch The Wire. He was on The Wire, which is cool. I never watched The Wire, but I will say I did see the movie Red Tails, which he was in, and I enjoyed that movie. I was thinking about watching yesterday, actually. But what was also interesting was I know him for his music. Like I actually have a playlist, you know? I like New York Love Story. I like it. I like the song Hennessy. I like Own It. I like My Crib. See, now I like these songs, and I like, not everybody has a cool cover that really gets me, but like his Remember the Time cover. Yeah, Michael Jackson Remember the Time. He did his own version of it, and I like it too. I was like, yo, I bangs with this guy. His blend of R&B and hip hop, like 90s hip hop. His whole swagger is 90s R&B love with 90s hip hop like residency. So I enjoyed all that. Um to get back to what I was trying to say before, when me and Simone first arrived, we walked in and like literally like not even 5 seconds in, that's the first person I walk into. And then like, yo, we just looked at each other and just literally dapped each other up. He goes, "What's up?" And I'm like, "What up?" And then it was just like, "Oh, cool." I didn't expect that. And then Simone was looking, like the way it all happened. Simone looks at me and goes, "Do y'all actually know each other?" And I'm like, "No." I was just like organic. So fast forwarding back to the thing, Simone goes, "Yo, you should definitely try to talk to him." And then at this point now, he's taking pictures and everything's cool. And then I just say, "Hey, can I, ask you 3 short questions and 1 bonus, an interview?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it." But first, I gotta make sure the homegirl, because Simone's also a fan, get her pics in, gotta let everybody get they shine on. But yo, he answered her the questions, and he was very cool about it. So let's take a listen. Let's take a listen, okay? Yo, this is DoogiFranchise, and I'm here with Tristan Mack Wilds.
The one and only?
Yes, sir. AKA Mr. New York Love Story. Yeah. I love that album, so I listen to it. So thank you. So I'm gonna ask 3 questions.
Okay.
And they're gonna be deep thoughts. So first question is, if your life had a soundtrack, which is funny because you got an album, what 3 songs would be on that soundtrack?
What 3 songs would be on that soundtrack?
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder's "Heaven Is a Zillion Miles Away."
Ooh.
Give me Michael Jackson, "Human Nature."
Okay. Tell them why. Tell them why.
Yeah. Well, for Stevie is always kind of like, he has always kind of like in that album specifically, it was very pensive feeling. And I feel like a lot of times when I was younger, I would feel it felt like that. You're wishing for something and so many people tell you that it's not possible. Everybody tell you that God isn't real, or, heaven is a zillion miles away from here. How's God gonna help us? But you always have faith. And "Human Nature", it feels very like a kid living in New York City who just wants to take a bite out of the Big Apple. And last but not least, I'll say "Own It."
Own It?
Own It. Tristan Wilds, Mack Wilds, "Own It."
Okay.
Just because That's the best way to live. You want to own everything you do.
I like that. That's a good answer. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. Okay, so now your life is a Netflix series.
Yeah.
What would you title this season that you're in right now, and what's the vibe like? What would the vibe be like for that season?
Vibe is the name of this season is Balance, and the vibe is you'll get a chance to see the chaos on either side, but at the end of the season you get a chance to see how you need both sides of chaos to understand the balance.
That's good. All right, last question. Okay, so for your story, what would be your eureka moment where you know, like, yo, this is all connecting, this works, I know I'm on the right path and I'm doing it right, and this is it?
That I'm doing it right? Ugh. I don't think you ever know that. But I think the way that I knew I was on the right path, or that I was going towards something that I wanted to, was right after one of my good friends from back home from Park Hill, Chungo, passed away. I was maybe 12 or 13. And instead of running around in the streets like we were doing at the time, I wanted to do something else, and it was acting. So it led me here.
Any words of wisdom for anyone out there as a creator, artist, or anything they want to do in life?
Yeah, man. Stay at it. Stick to it. Listen to yourself. Take creative criticism, but listen to your heart.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. That was the conversation with Tristan Mack Wilds, and that was great. I love his words of wisdom. Take creative criticism, but listen to yourself. You know, criticism is always good to be heard, but sometimes you do got to trust your heart. I like that. That's what I got from it, because sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I will not listen to myself and I would take criticism, but sometimes I would only think about just to follow the full criticism and not think. So I get it. I get it. I totally get it. So another person, I'm not gonna lie, that got me hyped. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilds, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and have this interview, have that short, brief interview. Hopefully, once again, we get to do more and work together. I want to, same with Mr. Walker. Hope to work with anybody. You know. Next, it was a good experience. So once again, shout out to Patrick Walker, Tristan Mack Wilds, Simone for bringing me and making sure I go. Yeah, that was cool. But that's not where, everything ends, because this past weekend I had another film moment experience. I didn't bring my equipment with me though, which I should have. I kind of low-key regretted it. But I like to shout out my homegirl Lena B. Jackson for being in a feature film this weekend. It was what you call it? It was called Jonesing. That's not the full title. I'm gonna give you the full title because I want to make sure the respect is there. It's called Joan. Give me a second. Sorry, I don't know why I just blah blah blah. So I'm redoing this. I'm redoing this as I'm redoing this right now. Sorry, I'm opening it up just to make sure I quote this right. I look into my notes, guys. I'm not, perfect, but I will look into my notes for stuff. It was, it's funny because it pops up there we go. It pops up on my feed all the time. So it's called Jonesing When Love Is a Habit. There we go. That's the full title. Jonesing When Love Is a Habit. It gives a feel of Love Jones, the classic movie. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have never seen Love Jones, so I'm sorry. but I'm proud at my friend Lena Benita Lena Jackson was in this film. She was a cool character too. She was that homegirl that really holds you down, like really held the homegirl down. Like, oh, you mess with her, yo, I'm coming for you. Now I gotta get you. You broke her heart. Now I gotta get you. That was a cool event because it was like, it was an all kind of white celebration for that event, which was cool. We saw a screening. We, me and a couple friends, Ice, shout out him. Kareem, shout out him. Got to get him on the show soon. Boy Smooth, Aaron. Then we ran into Clayton, and was there to celebrate her and her accomplishments. And like Lena's an awesome character. The movie was great. It was great. It has an elements of, it gives a heartfelt for storytelling for Black love, not on some like usual stuff you see. It was poetic Black love. That's what I like to describe it as, poetic Black love, where it describes like, when do you know you're in love and what it is. There are some moments that were challenging to the characters in their relationship, the two main characters. But it was. Shout out to the creator, director, writer, Six King. SIXXKING. That's also his IG handle. And so you could always check it out in his link. But for everyone else, I wanna say that was a cool experience. It was another event where I felt like I belonged. Sometimes you go to events and you're like, I shouldn't be here, but it was cool. We went, we watched the movie, then we went around Times Square. So we did this nice long walk, and then we went to go see the billboard where the actors, the beautiful actors' headshots popped up on the billboards, which was great because I like to see my peoples win. So that's it. So shout out to them and congratulations on a successful premiere. It's playing in all AMC theaters, by the way. So go to an AMC theater near you and check it out. It was a self-produced indie film. No studio, no nothing. And I think that's his third film, 16's third film. So shout out to that. And once again, shout out Lena. That's been my 2 weeks, guys. So I gotta say, it's inspiring. I love that stuff. I love this. I got new material coming in soon, especially podcast stuff and other side stuff that I'm thinking of trying. You can follow me once again. All my socials are the same. It's DOOGIFRANCHISE. Also, if you go on my Instagram, I gotta move this to all my socials too, because I kind of realized I didn't do that. I have a Linktree. The Linktree connects you to the SoundCloud with the podcast, my YouTube, which will have podcasts and other projects on it. My t-shirt store, yes, I have a print-on-demand store. Check it out. Guarantee you'll find something you like. My Twitter, which I don't really use that much, which I'm probably gonna have to start incorporating. But yeah, check it out. Also my TikTok. All right. Camera overheated a bit, so I had to give it some time to cool. So let me just end this right here. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, follow me again on my socials. Check out the Linktree, and shout out to everybody. Lena, Six King, Tristan Mack Wilds, Patrick Walker, Simone, and all those out there. And remember, it's show off season. And on that note, goodbye and good night.